Hello, and welcome to a series about diabetes. I'm hoping this series will be able to help both those with diabetes and those that know people that are affected by diabetes, and maybe even some people that never really thought about it. Today we'll be focusing on particularly my first few days as becoming diabetic, and some of the other stories that I've heard from people that also had diabetes have a very similar feel. Some are faster, some are slower. So for me, it was 2009. That particular summer, it was pretty rough. For a little bit of background, I'm not really a how to put it, athletic person. I do some athletic things. I dance. I do some move, but I don't particularly lift anything. But that particular summer, it was particularly worse. Both helping others lift things and whatnot. It started to really hurt. Just everything in the body really started to kind of just flush and drain, as well as wasn't obvious at the time, but looking back, I was drinking a lot. Not not anything bad, but like milk. I was drinking gallons of milk like a week. It was pretty bad. Moving forward from that, it I was sleeping a lot. Granted, that's has to do with a few other autoimmune and everything like that. Uh, I got a yelled down from my dad that, hey, we got to go to the hospital. We are, you might be diabetic. Well, I never heard of the disease. What's that? So, all right, we went to the hospital. We ended up parking maybe a mile away. We walked in. They're like, oh, hey, do you want to sit down? Because your blood sugar is really bad. It was over 500. That's not normal for an average person. The average non-diabetic is around 80, 70, 80. It can flux depending on what time of day and what you've eaten and everything like that. But the general consensus was, I'm sick, but I just walked a mile. I'm fine. So we ended up walking into the ER room, and they're hooking you up all kinds of things and getting all kinds of water back into the system, because what diabetes does, in particular, is without any insulin, or when the body doesn't allow the insulin in the body to be able to secrete and break down particular sugars, both complex and simple. We'll talk about that later. It will be able to break them down for energy. But without being able to break them down, where is it going to go? So you get all of this excess kind of sugar that isn't really compatible with your body, that will be able to just fill it up, and just everything kind of drags. And it really, for me particularly, I got really skinny and really pale. Some people kind of have a little bit of the opposite, just because it's just stored through either fats, or it's not good for the body. When there's too much of one thing and not enough of another, it's the body doesn't like it. It wants homeostasis, where everything's kind of even and flowing and everything's good and able to flush out. What they were able to do is fill me back up with water, with the little drip thing, whatever it is, and within a few hours, I looked a lot better because your body is just completely flushed. There's not enough fluid to be able to flush all of that junk out that's not needed, or in its current form. And then as the day went on, They were able to bring that blood sugar down. They were able to give me some external insulin, which sometimes can be rejected, but it's not from the body, so it's able to actually break those sugars down into a usable source, and then you're able to actually take in carbs and be able to get some energy. Fortunately, everyone I knew ran to that hospital. I had family members, I had friends, I had a really good support group, a wonderful doctor that they were able to inform me, make sure that I wasn't just gonna conk out. There were plenty of tears, but something shifted. I was able to figure out, hey, so this is my life now. What do we got to do? And that's something that I want this particular series to have. That feeling of, okay, this is a real bummer, but what do we got to do? What do we got to do to stay positive? What do we got to do to just keep on moving and stay healthy? That's a real key, because sure, being healthy is important normally, but when something's on manual and you're not quite in control of that, it's the body can't fight that because there's no counterbalance. So you got to be able to stay on top of that. But I'm not going to bum you out. It's not a big deal. We're going to work together. Don't worry. If you're still kind of like, what is diabetes? What's going on? We'll get to it. Don't worry. I was able to be released from the hospital within a few days. They don't like to keep people in the hospital because you're not really sick. It's primarily for the education, as well as making sure that you are stable. So you could be there 1-2 days, maybe a week if things aren't really working out. But as long as you have a good support group, as well as just that internal confidence, even if you have no idea what's going on, then you're ready to start learning about this particular disease, which in a way is really beautiful because you're learning about the body and how remarkable it is when it works. At least that's my outlook on it. Because I'm putting something on manual, this is something that the body normally does all the time. It's like breathing or your heartbeat. It's something that's always happening in the background, but we never think about it. When are you thinking about, oh, well, it's time to secrete some pancreatic juice? No, it's something that happens when you're eating, when you're sleeping. So if this is something you're interested in for a series, I will be getting different equipment and everything like that. This is kind of just an introduction video, just to get the ball rolling. I want to be able to both bring the support to people and just form a community that is very positive, not negative in any way. I don't want anything to get kind of political or anything like that. This is not about any of the prices. This is about people and diabetes. So if you have a beautiful story of when you were diagnosed, if you have any particular questions, I will be covering both pumps and pens, needles, and different kinds of meters, all kinds of equipment, which I'm really excited for that aspect as well. I am really passionate about what diabetes brings to the fold. And while I'm not a doctor, I want to make sure that's very clear. I am not a doctor, so if I ever make any recommendation, take it with a grain of salt. And I'll make sure to always say that. But if I ever forget, I'm not a doctor. I am just someone with diabetes. And I know you people are out there as well. So if you could write down in the comments section what you might want to see, if you hit that like button, wherever that is, that would also be fantastic. We're going to be hopefully starting something really beautiful. This won't be the only series on the channel, but hopefully this will still kind of grow its own little community. So I want to thank you for coming in, and I'll start writing scripts and stuff like that. There'll be less ums and blah, blah, blah. But here's a start. Day 1.